Hi there, this is Heather Home of Lightworker, Psychic Readings and Energy Healing out of Peterborough, Ontario. And it's a nice warm evening, so I thought I'd come out on the balcony and get another video done. I apologize, it is downtown in the city, so there will be some background noises there from the traffic and some people noises, but I think we should be okay. So this video will be about my preamble. My preamble I do at the beginning of every live session when I'm doing readings with clients. It helps them to understand how I work and how to get the best out of their session. All psychics are different. We all have different types of skills and offer different types of readings, and this will help you get the best out of your session. Also, this video might be of help to anybody who, if they themselves are a light worker or a psychic, and they're just trying to figure out, if they're just moving into maybe doing this to help others, do they want to do a preamble at the beginning of their sessions? And if they do, what do they want to include in it? This might give you some ideas as well. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this video for clients is basically because there are some situations where, say like if it's a party type of situation where we're going to be doing video one after the other, these mini readings over video chat or telephone, this will help save some time if they can watch this video ahead of the date. And then that way, we're not taking up the time with the preamble during their limited time at the party. They want to be able to get back and enjoy it. So I will just explain. I have my handy dandy little cue card here that I use all the time now. I'm going to take you through the list of all the things that I do, and of course I'm always open to any questions as well. If anybody's still not sure what to expect during a session, then they can still get in touch. So always I start with a moment of silence. Since I've moved everything to video chat or telephone, I tend to do this ahead of the session so that, again, we're not taking up too much time. But I like to set up some good energy. So I do some prayer work, I do a little meditation, focus on good energies and asking, I call them the nice kids on the playground, to come in and help us out. So I always do that at the beginning of a session, and that should be completed actually before I get started, now that we've moved online. And when we get started, I like for two kinds of information to come through: the kind that you already know and the kind that you don't yet know. You do want some information that you do already know, because you want to know that this process is real. I would not otherwise know these things about you, and so if they're coming up, it's intended as validation for you. And then, of course, we do want information that you don't yet know, because that's the whole purpose of going to see a psychic. Coming back to the information that you do already know, we want some of that, yes, as validation, but in more than one way. So yes, because you want to know that this process is real, but then also in addition to that, if something is coming up that I am already aware of, that you are already aware of, or you are already doing, regardless of how I word it, to the best of my understanding, that's your team up there making their efforts to get the message through to you, that they see what you're doing, they're aware, you're on the right track, and you're getting your 2 thumbs up, your kudos. Please keep up the good work. So now I will explain. I myself am an energy reader. I don't actually know anything about you. My information comes from a higher source. I feel like I'm kind of like an antenna. It comes through me. I do my best to translate it into English and then pass it on to you. So I don't always know what context to put these messages into. You will know your life much better than I ever will. Hopefully you will understand it. So regardless of, as I say, regardless of how I word these messages, if you're already aware or you're already doing the things that are coming up in the session, that's your team letting you know that you're on the right track. The example that I use is I had a young gentleman once, and I was getting diet for him, and to me it didn't make any sense. I didn't really get the context. To me, he looked young, he looked fit. Why would he need to be on a diet? But it's my job to be like a radio, and so I just give him the information that's coming in, and he said, oh good, I just switched to veganism. So that was for him his validation that his team saw what he was doing and he was on the right track and he was getting his kudos. Please keep up the good work. So you'll be watching for some of that type of information coming in during your session. Let's see what else is on my cue card here. Yes, so for whatever type of reading I'm doing, I always need some kind of creative component. So sometimes that might be automatic writing or intuitive art. Most live sessions generally, especially if it's an appointment type of situation or a party type of situation, we're trying to keep on track and keep into a set amount of time. And so I find that if I just start start the session with cards, that works the same way. It stimulates whatever part of the brain does this work the same way that the intuitive art or the automatic writing will do. It has colors, it has shapes, symbology, and so on. And so it still works for me. Now, some clients are really into the cards and some are not. If you are into the cards and you would like a photograph of your cards emailed to you, then please remind me at the end of the session, but before we finish up, because once I'm in the zone, I will completely forget to ask again. So you're very welcome to let me know that you would like that. But don't wait until 10 o'clock that night or even after the next appointment, because the cards will have been put away. And for me, the cards basically, any type of creative component, it's like a diving board that gets me into the water. So I'm not really relying on those tools, and that's all they are. They're just tools. It's not that I'm relying on them, but they're like a diving board. So I get started with those. It stimulates whatever part of the brain does this work. And then I'm jumping into the intuitive information. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not sure if you can hear that. Some little downtown drama, it sounds like. Once I have got started with that, then what happens is I start to tune into a higher sense, a higher energy, and more information comes from a higher source. So what happens is you will often see me turning my head to the right and staring off to the right, although sometimes that's where my laptop will be seated, so it might look like I'm staring straight at you. But basically I'm turning my head to the right, and my fingers are usually below the camera, so you won't normally see, but I start to rub my fingers together like this. And that's when there's a process going on where the information is kind of being received, and I'm trying to make sense of it and do that translating into English. So you'll see me doing that, and you'll see my energies fluctuate. So I will sometimes be talking a lot and loud and fast, and then other times things will quiet right down, and sometimes I might go silent for a little while. And all I ask for is your patience, because that's just information kind of coming in and passing through. And sometimes I have to stop and really think about trying to do that interpretation. What is it that they want me to say? What else do we have here? Yes, I only work in positivity. It doesn't mean that challenges don't come up in life, but I don't do the whole negative type of thing, doom and gloom, your world's going to blow up, somebody's going to die. No, that's just not me. I don't work in that way. I work in positivity. So if challenges come up, however, that's very normal in life. And I find that if that does happen, then our teams up there, whatever you believe in, angels, guides, grandma looking after you, that kind of thing, they will offer some information around options for you. And then that way you can have something to work with as you're dealing with your challenges. We like to aim positively. My goal is to help you make your own best choices for yourself. And then that takes me into the differences between what I do and fortune telling. I don't do fortune telling. The fortune telling is the idea that everything in the future is kind of written in stone and you don't have free will. Because I'm an energy reader, I see that every decision that we make changes the potential future. So if we're doing, say, for example, a life path reading, to me it doesn't look like one long linear line. It looks more like a big road map. And so every decision you make brings you to an intersection. You can choose to turn left or turn right, go straight or go back the way you came from. And every decision that you make takes you in a different direction. As an energy reader, again, and a light worker, I see that there really are no wrong decisions. It just takes you on a different journey and you get different things out of your life experience. Eventually you reach your destination. It's just that your life path will then look different. Let's see, what else do we have here? I've already talked about that. Oh, yes. If anything comes up that sounds like advice, it's not really intended as advice per se. I just find, I believe that our teams, your team, basically they're trying to use your session as the opportunity to get messages through to you. And so they love you, they want the best for you. And so what they do is they try to give you information first that will help get you further, faster, and in the healthiest way. So if anything is coming through that kind of sounds like advice and you think, well, that's great, but what if I want to make this other decision? Then that's a-okay. Please don't be shy. Go ahead and speak up. And then that way that helps me to zoom in and I can give you some other information and we can explore that a little bit more. And then lastly, Spirit does not always give you what you want to hear, but it does always give you what you need to hear. They try to be very helpful and empowering, and that is the whole point of doing this work. So that's it for information about my preamble. Again, this is Heather, home of Lightworkers, Psychic Readings, and Energy Healing out of Peterborough, Ontario. I wish you all the best. Happy warm weather here in Canada, and take care. Oh, city living. Okay, take care, everyone.